A very warm welcome to the fresh and new session on the next chapter, Time Series. Today we are going to begin with a new lesson known as Time Series. The word itself says Time Series. This is about the data where statistical data is gathered for over a long period of time, and that analysis we call it as time series. Now let us see what is the meaning of time series. Arrangement of statistical data in chronological order or in accordance with time is known as time series. Chronological order means according to time. So for example, if you are going to make any collection of data over a period of time, say for any product, for example, if you want to make a collection of data of sales, of production, of population for a period of 5 to 10 years, and that data when you represent it over a period of time, that we call it as time series. Now let us see the different definitions of a time series given by different people. The first one, a time series is a set of statistical observations arranged in chronological order. This is given by Morris Hamburg. The second definition is by Croxton and Cowden. He says that a time series consists of data arranged chronologically. And the third statement by Mr. Patterson, a time series consists of statistical data which are collected, recorded, observed over successive increments. So basically, time series is nothing but it is the data which is collected over a period of time and then represented. Such a data we call it as time series. In this lesson, we are going to see which are the different components of time series. What are the formulas you're going to use for time series? What are the things you have to keep in the mind? And from examination point of view, you'll be getting 18 marks. That is, you'll be having a 10-mark question, you'll be having a 5-mark question, a 2-mark question, and 1-mark question. So total there will be 18 marks. Of course, if you have opted a question on vital statistics and index numbers, you need not opt a question on time series. So basically in all you will be having 10-mark question 1, 5 marks and 2 marks and 1 mark. The next part, the essential requirements of time series. What are those? First point, as far as possible, the time gap between various values must be equal. First one means time gap means whatever the values are there, should not be much gap between those values. It should be equidistant, I can say. That is how the meaning of the first sentence is. The second one, it must consist of a homogeneous set of values. Homogeneous means if you are going to take information or values of particular exports, so you will be taking only of exports. If it's about production, you will be taking only on productions. So whatever values you will be collecting, it will be regarding to that particular thing only. It should be homogeneous means same. Third one, data must be available for over a long period of time. Means if you want to collect or have data under time series, it should be over a very long period of time so that it is very good for analysis. And the last sentence here is, a graphic representation of time series data is called histogram. 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 It's not histogram. Most of the children get confused here. So the graphic representation of time series data is called histogram. Now the next part is where all time series are being used. The uses of time series. Here you will be having a 2-mark question, and a graphic representation of time series data is called histogram. This can be a 1-mark question. First, it helps in planning and forecasting the business activities. That is the first use of time series. Second one, it helps in understanding past behavior and will help in estimating the future behavior. So what is the past behavior? It will help you to analyze, and also it will help you to analyze the future behavior as well. Then the third uses of time series is comparison between data of one period with that of another period is possible. When you have to make a comparison from one period to another period, you'll be using time series. The fourth one, we can evaluate the progress in any field of economic activity. See, basically here, when our country is making so many economic policies and all that, it needs some data, and all this data is collected from index numbers, from time series. These are the things, or these are the formulas which helps the country to formulate the policies. There are so many things to be planned. For all that, statistics is exclusively and extensively used. The next important part is the components of time series. See, the component of time series is having actually four main categories. How it is bifurcated or how it is divided. There are four types or four components of time series. The first one is a secular trend. The second one is the seasonal variation. The third one is the cyclical variation. And the fourth one is the irregular variation. Among these four, secular trend is the one which we'll be studying in detail, and for this particular secular trend, you'll be seeing which are the different formulas you'll be using to calculate the secular trend. Now see, seasonal variation means you'll be seeing the variations caused due to seasons. Cyclical variation means it is in a form of a cycle, that which comes in a cyclical movement, it's in a circular motion. Irregular variation means it's not at all regular, you don't know when it's going to happen. So these are the four important components of time series: secular trend, seasonal variations, cyclical variations, irregular variation. We will see one by one what it means. Coming to the first one, secular trend. Now what does it say? The general tendency of time series data to increase or to decrease or to remain constant during a long period of time is called secular trend. What is the meaning of secular trend? It says that which consistently increases or decreases or remains constant over a long period of time, that is called as secular trend. And this secular trend is over a long period of time. The long term or long period of time in a trend depends on the nature of the data. So hence, long period does not denote a fixed period of time. In one case, even few hours may be considered as long period, or in another case, several years may be also considered as long period. Then what does it say? If you have just finished the uses that we are telling about secular trend, then it should be clearly understood that the trend is the general smooth long-term average tendency. It is always smooth. The secular trend is always smooth. It goes in one particular fashion, it does not have any erratic behavior, or it's very smooth. Even if it has to increase, it will go on increasing in a very normal pace. For example, see the price of gold. It is like if you just compare the price of gold just 10 years back and now if you compare, it is increasing. It increasing in a very systematic manner. It is increased too much, but it is increasing. It's in an upward trend. And if I'm giving the example here itself, the death rate. Suppose if some 40-60 years back, the death rate was too high then because of lack of medical facilities and all that. But now in the present scenario, not I'm talking about COVID, of course, this is a totally different thing. But if you compare 2019, the death rate is comparatively very low compared to 40 or 50 years back what it was then. So basically what I'm trying to tell here is secular trend is a period where it will go upwardly in a slow manner. It's very consistent. It does not jump high just like that. It goes in a very straight manner, and then even if it has to decrease, it will come in a consistent decreasing manner. So the examples here for secular trend are increase in the price of gold in the past many years is an upward trend. Yeah, true. So see, as even I don't think even in the near future the gold price is going to remain less. It will always go on increasing. And the second example for secular trend is decrease in the death rates in the past many years is a downward trend. So these are the two examples on secular trend. Coming to the second component, The second component is seasonal variations. See, the word seasonal means the changes which are happening because of seasons, the changes which are happening because of rainy season or summer season, whatever the season, and those changes we can notice, and such a change we call it as seasonal variation. The regular, periodic, and short term variation in a time series is called seasonal variation. Generally, the period of seasonal variation would be within 1 year. Of course, in a year you can see 4 seasons: summer season, winter season, rainy season, and 3 seasons you can see. And seasonal variation is predictable. Very important, seasonal variation is predictable. The factors causing seasonal variations are: what are the reasons for the seasonal variations to happen? First one, climate and weather conditions. Yes, that is true. Customs, traditions, and habits of people. Now, customs in the north of our country is totally different compared to the customs and traditions of the people in the south. So that also changes habits of the people. It's a saying, every 10 kilometers you go, the habits, the scenarios, everything changes from area, geographical people, place to place. It changes, it keeps on changes. The result of natural forces causes seasonal variation. Here nature plays a very important role, and hence it is known as seasonal variation. Let us check the examples. The examples are: umbrellas are sold more in rainy season. Yes, true. Then in winter season there will be sale of woolen clothes. Then in summer season there will be sale of more of ice creams, cold drinks, etc. It will always be increasing. Man-made conventions are the customs, habits, fashions, etc. Examples. What are the examples? There is a custom of wearing new clothes, preparing sweets, and buying crackers for the big festivals like Deepavali, Dasara, Christmas, etc. At that time there is more demand for cloth, sweets, and crackers. Then most of the students buy stationery books when the schools are reopening, and that's most of the time during the month of June. And seasonal indices are used for the measurement of seasonal variations. So this is the explanation on seasonal variations. Coming to the next one, cyclical variations or business cycle. It is also known as business cycle. Now what is it? Most of the economic and business time series are influenced by wave, like changes of prosperity and depression. See, always cyclical means that which goes up, it has to come down. That's why it's called as cyclical, means once it's a rotatory movement. Like this is a periodic up and down movement. Yes, this movement is known as cyclical variation or oscillatory variation. So cyclical variation is an oscillatory variation which occurs in 4 stages. There are 4 stages in cyclical variation which you need to remember. The first one is prosperity, then comes the decline, then the third part is the depression, and the fourth one is improvement or recovery. So remember, one cycle consists of 4 stages, and those 4 stages are prosperity, decline, depression, and improvement. You will understand best by this particular diagram. See, this is a business cycle diagram, and how do we draw it? See, this is a normal line. A business which will prosper over a period of time, and after certain years or even decades it will come down, and the worst scenario is it will come much more down, and that is known as a depression state. And after certain period of time, yes, again that business will start improving or it will start recovering. So these are the 4 cycles of 4 stages of cyclical variation. And where is it helpful? The study of cyclical variation is helpful to businessmen and economists for framing suitable policies and stabilizing the level of business statistics. So this is cyclical variations. You have to remember the 4 different stages of this particular cycle, and the period can be from between 3 to 10 years also. The fourth component is irregular variations, or it is also called as random or erratic variations. See, the word itself says erratic, random, irregular. You don't know when it's going to happen. It can happen anytime, all of a sudden, and the whole things can change immediately, then and there only. Now it is the irregular movements of the data over a period of time. These variations are not regular. These are sudden unexpected variations. These are caused by, what are the causes of these irregular variations? They are war, floods, strikes, lockouts, earthquakes, etc. These movements are very irregular and unpredictable. Now I can give you a very present example of COVID itself. This COVID pandemic has brought so much of havoc in everyone's life. It is all of a sudden, you were not expecting. Last year, you were not knowing that something is going to happen like this in 2020. So, this is a very good example of irregular variations, I can say. Then, what are the examples for this irregular variations? Sudden increase in death rate of a locality due to earthquake, tsunami, etc. Then sudden increase in the price of vegetables due to ban call or given by an organization. You know that because of this lockdown or because of any strike, because of any band, we are deprived of the basic necessities. We are short of basic necessities. So such outbreak which disturbs the whole thing, which is irregular, which you are not able to know when it will come, it is called as irregular variation. It can happen anytime. You take for example even tsunami. Of course they had predicted, but you would never knew that it would come and disturb the whole thing so much. Even war, sometimes strikes, earthquake happens. The common man doesn't know when the earthquake is going to happen. Of course the scientists will be aware, they'll be sending messages, but it happens all of a sudden. So such sudden variation, we call it as irregular variation. The next word is random or erratic. Erratic also means irregular. So there are totally 4 components, that is secular trend, then comes seasonal variation, the third is a cyclical variation, and the fourth one is irregular variation. Here the most important one for you all is secular trend. You will be learning which are the different formulas used to calculate secular trend, which are the different types. It may be by graphical method, it may be by moving average method, it may be by least square methods. So in the next class we will be dealing with secular trend, or further whatever we have to. So in this class basically we just defined, or we just saw what is time series, its meaning, its different definitions, the components of time series, and the examples based on these different components. So in the next class we'll be dealing with the further things. Thank you.